Kevin Nash,
Vinny Vegas,
Master Blaster Steel. But we're back, we're refreshed, and you said it. We're here to talk about the Main Event Mafia, and not the entire experience, but the birth of the Main Event Mafia. We're going back 15 years ago to 2008 and your time in TNA. And I enjoy these TNA shows specifically because we don't have to filter the video, which I love for our YouTube audience.
It's a little easier on us.
It is. It makes it a little easier for us, and we can have fun. People can see it. And but yeah, man. And listen, Main Event Mafia, kind of a big deal, wouldn't you say? It was a big deal for a lot of fans. They loved the group.
Yeah, you know what? It was really cool to be able to bring all these guys together and have a faction with the wrestlers that had the huge success. Booker T and Scott Steiner, Sting, Kurt Angle. It was a really cool faction. And Kevin Nash came up with the idea and concept, and I thought it was awesome.
Man, Nash has such a mind for the business. He has a successful podcast, but man, click this if you guys want to check that out. But we're going to jump into it. And the C's are slowly planning for the group's formation, and it starts on the episode of Impact on May 22nd from 2008 when you, Kurt, helped Booker T defeat AJ Styles in a King of the Mountain qualifier. Did you know at this point what the group was going to be and what it was all about?
Yeah, I knew at this point in time. Kevin presented it to the writers, and the writers spoke to me, and I was game. I was on board with this thing, and so we started with the Booker T versus AJ, and I assisted Booker T in the win, and that's how we all began the storyline.
Okay, so you've already told us, let the cat out of the bag here. Kevin Nash is the author of the entire idea, so that's who it comes from. Was there any problem with obviously creative? The whoever's in charge of creative at this point, they were all in. Whatever Kevin Nash said, they were all in. And
yeah. Kevin's great, man. He's really creative. He comes up with a lot of ideas. I mean, look what he did in WCW, and he had the Click, and then he had
NWO.
He had the NWO.
Yeah,
Kevin Nash is part of the greatest factions of all time, and you know what? Main Event Mafia wasn't too bad either.
No, not at all.
But the night before my last night in WCW before my first tour of All Japan, I was in the tournament. I believe it was a TV title tournament against Vinny Vegas.
Oh. As we know, Kevin Nash
did the JOB for Vinny Vegas. He hit the dice.
Snake eyes.
Snake eyes. Yeah. Oh, and Vader was trying to help us during the match. Vader liked me. That was cool. I found out then, but we were both green. Nash was green too. Mm-hmm. And Vader was saying before the match, saying, you got to sell like a big guy. You're out there, a big guy. You can't be bumping around and shit, obviously. And he's like, but you should be hitting him with everything you got. You should be like, kick him, go hit the ropes, come up with a flying kick, go hit the ropes, come back with a different kick, a spin kick, a flip kick, go hit the ropes. And that's exactly what I did. If you watch the match, Vader was like helping. I hit the ropes, leg lariat, boom, get off my ass, hit the ropes again, drop kick, hit and then and eventually, like he rocked him, and then whatever. But that was like a story that Vader was teaching me to tell that was very important. I would use that wrestling the Big Show years later, and work on his knee, bam, bam, and eventually get him down to one knee so I can fight him when we're both the same size.
Yeah, I love that's my favorite kind of dynamic in wrestling is like David versus Goliath matches are like my favorite kind of thing to tune into, and it's pretty awesome. And Vader, it's cool too because like him and Bam Bam Bigelow are so synonymous with one another with their work in Japan and stuff like that. And then you have that memorable match with Bam Bam. And it's just
yeah. And I never worked with Vader. I forgot about this. If someone asked me, I don't know if this would have come up to my mind if I wasn't thinking about the match with Vinny Vegas, but because I didn't even remember even talking to Vader that much and knowing him that much. But shit, yeah. He was there back then and helped me out in that particular moment.
He has another question. He says, on one show, Barry was hurt, and Kevin Nash, as Master Blaster Steel, subbed for him. What were Arn's thoughts on Kevin Nash at the time, and had you ever seen any of his work before?
He was just getting started. He was first stage green, but he was a big dude and a funny guy. You know, Kevin's right away. If you're in the locker room with Kevin for 10 minutes, you know, you find out how, you know, entertaining he is. But there's another pushing that 7-foot deal, right?
Yeah.
Big dude. Yeah.
Big dude, green, but you know what? He wasn't. He was a guy that, you know, obviously took to the business and figured it out and had just a unbelievable career. Well, listen, you would wrestle Kevin Nash on Impact in late August in a match that's a qualifier for the TNA title match at No Surrender that you would get the win. Imagine that. And here's what the Torch had to say. Said Angle came out first. Samoa Joe was sitting ringside with Tenay and Wes. Joe said anyone who wants a piece of him can come get some. He predicted he'll remain champion at No Surrender. Tenay asked Joe if he's rooting for his mentor, Nash, and added it'd be great to have Nash to watch his back at No Surrender. Joe said when you're champion, you can't really count on anyone to watch your back. He said he's number 1 right now, and Nash has never been good at being number 2. Angle bailed out as Nash entered the ring. Angle worked over Nash's legs after the break, including a figure 4. Nash rolled over to reverse it and then grasped the ropes to force a break at 7. Then he had a big side slam to neutralize Angle. Both men were slow to get up. Nash shoulder tackled Angle for a 2 count at 8 minutes for a 2 count, then clotheslined him to the floor. Angle crawled over to the announce table. He slapped Joe in the face and told him to keep his eyes on him. That was out of nowhere. Nash gave Angle a big boot to the face. Joe stood up and walked to ringside. Nash set up a jackknife. Angle gave Nash a low blow from behind. Angle hits the Olympic slam for the win. Winner, Kurt Angle, in 10 minutes. Throwing in that low blow there, Kurt. See what you did there.
If you're going to beat Kevin Nash, you got to cheat.
This is one of the few singles matches, though, that you had with Big Sexy in your career. What did you think? Talk to us about working with Big Kev.
You know what? I was surprised because I thought he'd be pretty limited because he blew his knee out in WWE, and you know that was a pretty nasty injury. But he seemed to be fine when I wrestled him. I mean, I know he was protecting his knee at this point in time, but I thought he produced pretty well. I thought we had a great match, especially for a 10-minute match.
I want to hear about your two's relationship backstage. Did you have lots of good? I mean, he's a conversationalist. There's no doubt about it. If you ever have checked out his podcast, has lots of thoughts, lots of opinions,
loves to talk. Yes.
Loves to talk. So talk to me about you two and your relationship.
We became very close. I didn't even talk to him in WWE. I barely spoke to him. We would say hi when we passed by each other, but in TNA, we became really tight friends. We had a mutual respect, and with that mutual respect was, a great friendship that produced.
Did you guys share similar viewpoints as far as on the wrestling business?
Yes. I was all on board with what Kevin was, his whole idea was to make the younger wrestlers, and his whole idea was also to make us shine first, make sure that we were dominating everybody, and then we would put people over. And I totally agreed with him.
And you said too that you really didn't get to know him that well in 2002 in WWE, huh?
No, I mean, they weren't. They're social guys, but they had their own little clique. Sean and Hunter and Kevin Nash and
the
Scott
clique.
Yeah, it was the clique.
Yeah.
So nobody really spoke to him that much. I mean, I might say ask him a question or something, but we wouldn't have a long conversation. No.
So that's cool, though, that now you have this opportunity here in TNA to get to know him better, talk to each other, and kind of form that friendship. So
yeah, and he's a quality individual, man. He's a great human being.